Alright, welcome everybody for the PCDC Motorsports ACC League. I will be our director and commentator today. My name is Senna Stoffmeal, and I will guide you through the action. Take a quick look at the track we have before us here. So today we're at a dark and possibly rainy mad panorama circuit. We're in New South Wales and we're in Australia. The track features 23 turns and is about 6.213 kilometers long or 3.861 miles long. Let's also take a quick look at our race format for today. So the race format for today is a 120 minute practice session. That is coming to a close fairly soon in about 3 or so minutes. Then after that we have 20 minutes of qualifying, 10 minutes per class. So 10 minutes for the GT3s first, and then 10 minutes after for the GT4s. And after that we'll have a 60-minute race, which features 1 mandatory pit stop. So during the stop the tires are a mandatory change, refueling is disabled. And we will have a rolling start. Before we head into qualifying, we're going to take a quick look at the standings. So the standings at the moment in the GT3 class is at the top we still have Adam Chmielewski with 290 points. Behind him we have Gang with 272. And in third place in the overall standings for the GT3s we have Falkenberg with 242 points. After that we have Ford with 171. Then we have the Groot with 168. Then we have Petit with 142. After that we have Friedrich, then Howard, then Harvey. In 10th we have Rojovic with 132. Then we have Muir in 11th, Robles in 12th. In 13th we have Odegov. In 14th we have Hill. Hill doing a pretty good job as out of the AM class. Obviously, we are in the first season that we are using this class-based system. So obviously, if people do really well in this season, they might see themselves promoted. Likewise, if they do quite bad, they might get demoted. And then we have Montalvo in 15th with 91 points. Then we have Njergesh with 82. Then the Knecht in 17th with 81. Then we have Mulder in 18th, Altanen in 19th, Ternuto in 20th, Peterweyer in 21st, Parnell in 22nd, Thomas 23rd, Knuckle in 24th, Jurich in 25th, and Pribil in 26th. Also take a quick look at the GT4 Championship. So at the front we still have Marcus Lawrence with 231 points. And in second we have Kundaksioglu with 190 points. In third we have Troquet with 183 points. So not much between Kundaksioglu and Troquet there. We also have Wanzik in fourth with 172. Again, pretty close. One result can change the tide of battle here. Or the tide of war, I should say. Then the first Pro-Am is Ryan Daniels in 5th with 152 points. Then we have Domi Person in 6th. Lee Taylor in 7th. In 8th we have Dijkstra. Then in 9th we have Nels. In 10th we have Hager. Then we have Phillips in 11th. Mawson in 12th. And in 13th we have Wenlock. In 14th we have Rowley. In 15th we have Bulgakov. And then in 16th, to round off the GT4 standings, we have Knox Hope. Alright, so with that being said, I am looking at the track here. We should be getting underway with qualifying fairly soon here. Session hasn't skipped over yet, I believe. No. And here. So yeah, like I was saying before, the race of today is Bathurst at night, which is already an interesting combination because obviously Bathurst is a very challenging track, especially when they hold endurances around here. That is quite a sight to see. But we're holding it at night to kind of spice it up, and then also there is a possibility of rain. So the pre-race weather forecast is has heavy cloud cover and a possibility of rain. So if that would happen, that would be a quite a toss-up here, and we might see some people getting a bit better pace than others, because obviously there will be a choice behind at the start of the race if you go for a dry or a wet setup, and it'll definitely be interesting to see what our drivers elect to do today. It'll also be interesting to see, obviously, what our specific leaders in the class are doing. So Chmielewski, in the practice here, he got the 3rd fastest time. One person that you see at the top there is Shabo Bense, or Benche. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. I'm sure he will tell me afterwards. He's put a lot of practice in today. Said earlier he put in 12 hours of practice, and looking at his time there, it really paid off. So as we get going here, the GT3s will get out on track, and we will start following those guys around. And Shabo Bense is still in the pit, so hopefully he'll get out soon. Take the out lap here with one of our older guys here, Peter Parnell. I know he already has a lot of experience with this track, and wouldn't surprise me if we get a good result from him today. One of our more gentlemanly drivers in the Bentley, but yeah, he has a lot of experience around Bathurst and is quite comfortable on it, so I'm kind of rooting for him as well. So as he comes around here, heading up the skyline here, down into that very dangerous downhill S section. Managing to navigate it well. And then obviously you come up to this really big long straightaway, downhill all the way as well, so some cars here pick up speeds up until I believe it's like 282 kilometers an hour. I know the BMW can do that in the GT3 class, so main speed for GT3 class. So as Peter Parnell comes around here, let's see if we can just get his initial lap here on board. Obviously, as we come into turn 1 here, there's a very slight bit of camber on the inside of the corner, which you really want to utilize. Parnell does a good job. Quite a good run onto the straightaway. Obviously, we'll have to see who is gonna put the initial benchmark here. Our drivers only have 10 minutes, so this sometimes makes it that the grid is a bit jumbled up if people don't get their laps in. Quite a decent run again using the camber on that corner there. So now we come into like uphill tight hairpin and want to hug the wall as close as possible. So far, pretty clean lap from Peter Parnell. Obviously, the first lap, tire pressures aren't quite there yet, so usually the second lap is where people really push, and the first one is just kind of getting a time in there. Parnell doing a good job here. Downhill here, controlling the car very well, and very clean. Down in the foxhole here. Great job again. Down to the back straight. Let's see if any other times are gonna come in here in front of Parnell. I actually think Parnell might be the first one to cross the line. Oh no, there's one person ahead of him, I think, which is Jan Gang. So again, Parnell doing quite a good job. Jan Gang there putting the benchmark in there with a 201.98. See what Peter Parnell can do here. Okay, about 1.7 seconds off, but I know for sure Parnell can do a better job than that, as John Ford also gets a time in. Here at the person that has put a boatload of practice in, as other people get their times in. We see Friedrich and Arnsman putting him on a provisional third there. Grant Smith, though, taking that provisional pole off of Jan Gang, as Chavo Bense comes around the corner here. I'm looking quite tidy here. Yeah, 201.2 as his benchmark lap, so people will be looking to beat that. Look here, it's someone else. So we have Thomas Arnsman, he's already gotten his lap in. A look here at Daryl Hill. He's also trying to get his lap in, and his looks to be a racing flag, or might be actually a camoed out. Yeah, it looks to be somewhat of a camoed out Aston Martin. Aston Martin. Daryl put his first lap in. I believe he lost quite a bit of time over the mountain, and seems like he might have picked up a little bit of damage along the way, so putting his initial lap in here, quite a bit off the mark for now. And put another lap in. So a 2:09 for Hill there. Someone else is getting their lap in. That was from the AM class here. Olav Mulder is absolutely chromed out Aston Martin here. Almost seems to throw a bit of reference to the McLarens, the old F1 McLarens there. What it reminds me of, at least. So not doing a bad job here, looking fairly clean over the mountain. Nice and tidy. He heads into the downhill section. I think downhill section is especially tricky under braking there. So I hope it doesn't happen, but during the race we usually see people lose it under braking down there into the dipper. So but let's hope that doesn't happen. So Olav Mulder heading for his first initial lap, so I think he'll only get 2 laps in here. So hopefully for him it will be good ones. So as he comes to the last corner here, let's see if he can nail the entry of this corner. He'll be looking quite good here as he runs to the line. What he puts in. That was a 2:04.7 from Olav Mulder, so that puts him up into 15th position. Anyone is putting in some big improvements here. A look here at Friedrich. So currently looking at about a 6/10 improvement as he's heading down the hill here in his Borderland skin. And welcome, Mick. I'm glad you joined the stream. Good to see you here. As Friedrich heading to the last corner here as well. About 7/10 up. This might see him move up into 6th. This will actually move him up into 6 there, 8 tenths up. There we go. Only 6 thousandths between him and Yang Gang, so very good effort from Friedrich there. Showing he definitely has some pace. For now though, Gabo Bense is putting in the pace here, 201.18, so yeah. Really good there for Benche. I think I could actually see someone dip into the 2 minute and zeros. Just 2 minutes on the dot there. But so far it isn't happening yet. Someone else that's improving here, Andrew Harvey with his Pixel Barn Studio skin. To improve as well. Currently about 6 tenths up as he heads into the downhill section. Yeah, we sure have had a lot of the field is actually using custom skins. It's quite nice to see all the creativity coming out from the community. These will be obviously the G3's last lap. So we passed the 10-minute mark, and this will be the cue for the GT4s to get out on track. So we'll follow Harvey here out, but it seems to me that Chavo Benze actually is improving his time. Adam Cholewski as well, and Jordan Grant Smith as well. So the top 3 is currently improving their time as they're out on their hot lap. That'll be very interesting to see. Henry Harvey just getting the entry there, a bit wrong on that last turn, but still moves him up into P9, so right at the death of his qualifying session there. Yeah, a great lap. But all eyes are turned now on this man, Adam Cholewski, as he's behind Benche, but he went for a complete stealth skin, it seems here. Looking at a really good improvement here, as he just beats Benche for provisional pole. But that being said, Benche is looking at an improvement if he hooks up the last corner here. Oh yeah, that's going to be a good improvement here from Benche, I think. There we go, Benche provisional pole. What else that's improving is Grant Smith, but not nearly enough. Well, nearly enough actually. 1.27 by him. So man, that top 3 is looking really close, and Benche, his practice has really paid off for him. Now see, as we have the force heading out, I think we have to pay some credit every race to anyone who drives the Maserati, really. So today it's Benny Bulgakov, who's, I believe, teammates with Domi Person, who unfortunately isn't attending today. But yeah, the Maserati, obviously, no ABS, no traction control. So you can see how that becomes tricky against a whole field that has all of these assists. But I think it's likely that we'll only see the force putting in about 3 or so laps before the time runs out. Yeah, you can see Benny here warming up the tires, making sure, most of all, getting those pressures up. That's the most important part. We'll take a look at someone here that is on his lap. Brian Mawson. I believe he was last race winner. So Mawson in the GT4 class definitely has some good pace, and must say, ooh, as he taps the wall there a little bit. I mean, his nickname is Heavy Husky, so my nickname being Husky, I think I'm kinda need to support him, right? So yeah, let's hope he does good today as well. I think he had a bit of a surprise victory last week around because one of our leaders dropped out pretty late, but nevertheless, Mawson showed pretty good pace all through that race. So see, He can put a lap in here. Maybe actually catch a tiny bit of the slipstream of Marcus Lawrence with that massive Camaro in front of Mawson here. Marcus Lawrence, of course, in that Camaro being our GT4 leader at the moment. See, but Mawson making some good headway here. See how these two compare, but it looks like Mawson has a very good initial lap here. See what our GT4s put in here. Okay, so Mawson puts the benchmark down with a 12.7. Very nice. As now the GT4s obviously will keep on running. Bit lower fuel this time. The tires maybe slightly better pressure there, as Lee Taylor actually gets a very nice lap in there as well, only about 3/10 off of the provisional pole time. It is a AMG. Hager only also gets the time in, a 2-minute 15.7. Max Nels puts in a 15.8. Who I think Nels said he might not be able to make today's race, but seems like he has figured that he can free up some time for us today, so that's good to see, obviously. Take a look here with Lee Taylor, who's actually put in a very good improvement there as he taps the wall slightly. Still about 4/10 up on his time, so looking very good there. Obviously the GT4 is down on downforce, but they definitely don't struggle. They don't struggle in the slower speed areas. Obviously, very fast through the dipper and then foxhole and all of those, because those really rely on mechanical grip. But yeah, Lee Taylor looking at a very nice improvement here. It might actually steal pole off of Mawson if he can hook up this last sector. So as he heads into the last turn here, he's about half a second up, so this will see him move into the first by quite a margin here. Let's see what he does as he gets across the line. Very nice lap there, a 12.4 from Lee Taylor, and for now, no one seeming to be able to beat that lap. Obviously, the people coming across the line before the 2-minute and 15 or so mark will get 2 more laps. And obviously, as these guys get running, usually I think the peak grip is about 2 or 3 laps in for these GT4s. They'll be at the optimum pressures, optimum fuel. So meanwhile, we've also seen Miguel Fonseca put a lap in with a 2.19.7. Also looking very decent in the Porsche here, making his way around. Here, Benny Bulgakov has, I think, has just called it a day. I think once he's put his time in the Maserati, he's done with it. So I can understand. It's someone else here that is improving. Ryan Daniels here, as he Ryan will get 2 more laps in as well. Quite a hefty improvement so far, about 4/10 up, but I'm sure he'll be able to improve in the middle and last sector as well. His white and brown Aston Martin GT4. Right up close to the wall there. Heading into the very fast section here. And taps the wall slightly there as he goes up to Skyline. And he'll head into the downhill S. He'll go into the dipper. And after that comes Foxhole. Oh, hits the wall there again. That might actually compromise his run there, and it does. He has to pull over, so definitely picked up some damage there. Someone else that might be improving here. Look here, in the meanwhile, we have also seen One Sink qualifying 4th there with the KTM. Obviously, we know the KTM is quite down on acceleration and power, but maybe he is able to make a bit of that time up into the very twisty downhill section. Let's just watch Marcus Lawrence here as he's on for quite a hefty improvement so far. Yeah, Marcus Lawrence on top of the hill seems to have lost his stride here. Lost a couple of his tenths. Also, for some reason, I was calling Forest Elbow Foxhole. I don't know where that comes from. Too obsessed with the Nürburgring, I guess. As he comes down the hill here, he's actually broken even on his time. So qualifying coming to a close here. Doesn't seem like anyone is improving so far. So I think that will be pole secured for Lee Taylor there with a 2 minute 12 seconds and 4 tenths there. Marcus Lawrence comes across the line. He can't improve his time. Or this will be pretty much one. So qualifying comes to an end. And we will take a small 5-minute break, and then I'll come back to you with the grid rundown. We'll see you in a moment. Alright, as we come back here, we're gonna give you the full grid rundown for our PCDC ACC league here. So we'll start off with the GT3s. On pole we have Chavo Benze. And then right behind him we have Adam Chilesky, two-time race winner so far, but looks to be getting a good challenge here from Benze. And then behind him we have another newcomer, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jordan Grant Smith. So really well done for him, putting it up in third, qualifying. And behind him we'll have Thomas Arnsman in the Aston Martin. Then we have Jan Gang, the last race winner in the Audi. We have Kevin Friedrich in his Borderlands Mercedes. After that we have John Ford in the Mercedes. We also have Balin Yergesh, I think, featuring the only Lexus. And then 9th we have Peter Parnell. In 10th, Andrew Harvey. In 11th we have Falkenberg. And we have Roger Witch in 12th. In 13th we have Thomas in the only Lambo, I think. Dead is in 14th. In 15th we have Olaf Mulder. Then we have Hill in 15th. Or 16th, I should say, sorry. Then we have Taylor in 17th. Oh no, sorry. I got them mixed up. This is obviously the pole sitter of GT4, Lee Taylor. In the Mercedes GT4. The nice dystopian racing skin there. Right behind him will be Ryan Mawson. Then we have Marcus Lawrence in the Camaro. Behind him we have the only KTM, I believe, in the GT4 class, being Jordan Wansink. 20th we have Ryan Daniels. Then 21st we have Hager. Then we have Benny Bulgakov in 22nd in the Maserati, the only Maserati in the league because of obvious reasons. Together with Domi Persson, obviously. And then we have Max Nels in the McLaren in 24th. And then to round off the grid, we have Fonseca in 25th. So 9 GT4s today and 16 GT3s. Got a nice packed field here for Bathurst. We will return here to our leader, Chabo, as he is heading down the hill here, trying to get his tires up to pressure, getting some heat into them. Those clouds above looking quite gloomy, so not sure if we'll see some rain eventually, but we'll see how the drivers deal with that if it comes to it. Heading up to the last corner now, you'll see the field starting to bunch up here as they all get in their position for the race start. Over here and up to the last corner where we will start to see the grid speed up a little bit. Seems like Chmielewski had a on there. Wait for the green light here.
Green light.
So we're underway for round 4 at Bathurst in the PCDC ACC League as Chavo Benze gets quite a bad run into turn 1 and puts him down into 3rd position. See someone going off there. Not quite sure who that is. Looking at the field, it seems to be quite clean there. Although the 4s are also getting through cleanly. So we have one person in the pit here, Olaf Mulder. Not sure what happened to him. Maybe a slight mistake on the formation lap there. We are heading here. Chavo Benze going side by side into the hairpin there. And yeah, Chavo Benze definitely lost out at the start there, up into 4th position now. I think 3rd actually. Not the best run here, as we see Adam Chiwalowski here, with Grant Smith right behind him. They head into the downhill section here. Obviously those GT3s going in there very fast. So far that our GT4 field has had a good start as they head into the dipper here. Going up to Forest Elbow now. We have Lee Taylor here with Lawrence right behind him. Here if Lawrence can get a good run here on the straight, which I think he does. See if he can utilize any of the slipstream available. Obviously with the GT4s, they'll be way less, but seems like that Mercedes just has a little bit more top end than the Camaro. Yeah, for now, Lee Taylor still in the lead, but man, Marcus Lawrence right on his tail here. Actually see here as Jordan Grant Smith got the move done on Adam Chiwalowski, and Sabo Bense has managed to catch up to the two again. Very close racing here in the top three, and I think we'll see Yan Gang actually catch up to these guys as well. Sabo Bense trying around the outside here on Adam Chiwalowski, I think. Deep into the brake and trying side by side, but obviously there is no camber on the outside of the turn there, so he lost a lot of speed there. Not the best position for an overtake there as they come through that hairpin again. But Grant Smith looking quite comfortable here in his red and white Porsche. Chmielewski posted up right behind him. Seems like Benche lost a little bit of time there in the middle sector. Yeah, the two Porsches here in front, really fast. Take a look here a bit further back as we still have a lot of the pack quite close together. See there 4, 5, 6 cars all coming through Forest Elbow there. We have Kevin Freerich being somewhat in the lead of this. Actually, John Ford probably has been in the lead of this train. So far we have Nergish here with Thomas Arnsman going for the move. If he can pull it off here as Arnsman has the inside, but Nergish just carries a bit more speed through there. Arnsman will try it under braking, but Nergish just pulls out in front. They're under braking, so very well done from Nergish there. That move will not happen for now. So it seems Benche has lost a little bit of time during this lap. And we see Grant Smith there in front of Chmielewski. As they are already passing a GT4 in the form of Ryan Mawson there. Seems to have had a quite a bit of an issue there. He's already being lapped by the GT3, so obviously something must have had some damage somewhere. Lost a bunch of time, but really tricky start then for the GT3s as they'll already be managing traffic very early on into their stint. See now as well here the three guys, Nergish, Arnsman and Thomas, all very close together. Right behind them we have Peter Parnell and Brian Petit. They're also catching up. We see now the likes of Peter Parnell here starting to find his race pace a little bit and catching up to these guys. Shane Thomas right in front of him as well, so head down to the straight again. We have Frieder here, maybe coming under attack here from Samuel Falkenberg as they pass Ryan Mawson. Going into the braking, Frieder is definitely too far away from Ford, and also Falkenberg is too far away there. Andrew Harvey here with Daryl Hill. They're also quite close together. Again, this midfield here is where the action is going on. As we have a spin there, I believe that's Savo Benze, I think. I can find him here on the relative. But yeah, Chavo seems like he just went a little bit wide on the curb in the first turn there and just seems to have picked up a lot of damage here on his car. Front hood is coming a bit dislodged, so unfortunately, not the best run for Chavo here. Was looking really good in qualifying. Obviously, got that pole position, but just fell away from him here. Unfortunately, as surely he'll be coming in for repairs. So unfortunate for Benche there. He'll be coming into the pits. Here we have another battle here in GT4s between Ryan Daniels and Benny Bulgakov. Obviously, Benny, we all know he's a skilled driver, but the car choice certainly isn't helping him. As we also see Shane Thomas in 9th position for the GT3s coming into the pit. Maybe a little mistake there. So only 8 minutes into the race and already plenty of action. Get an onboard look here with Benny if we can on the straightaway, just to hear that nice Maserati sound. And really see how he's struggling in the downhill section on the brakes. So Lee Taylor so far managed to get a little bit of a gap to Marcus Lawrence in 2nd place there. Might be because of traffic, I'm not quite sure. Might also be just straight out more pace than Marcus Lawrence. We'll have to see as the race progresses how these two guys do. But so far, Lee Taylor looking very comfortable here at Bathurst. So very good job for him. Yeah. Take a look here as we still have only half a second between our top two here, being Grant Smith and Chmielewski. These guys are really looking to make it a nice battle here. As we also have Peter Parnell seems to be going into the pit, so might have picked up a little bit of damage somewhere, as we see Chmielewski trying for the move around the outside in the last turn. Jordan Grant Smith gives him the room, but not quite enough there for Chmielewski. But he still has the run, I think, into the first corner here. He's going to try it again. Looking for a little bit of a cutback. Obviously, Grant Smith compromised his line there. But Chmielewski doesn't quite have the speed, I think, to try a move here. And again, around the outside here is very tricky, yeah. He'll just slot in right behind Grant Smith. So he gets quite a poor run there through turn 2, so yeah, not happening so far. But Grant Smith doing a good job holding on there, as Chmielewski is putting him under pressure. Oh! Big mistake there from Grant Smith, hitting the wall. Just lost the rear end of the Porsche there and smacked into the wall, so hopefully not too much damage for Grant Smith as he's trying to go side by side. This can never end well. Oh, they slot in. Very tight battle here. Hope Smith doesn't have much damage from that contact because that would be very unfortunate. We also see now right behind him there, Jan Gang actually looking really fast here as well, only about 2.5 seconds behind them. Going downhill, obviously Grant Smith and Chmielewski battling up front has allowed Jian Gang to get up nice and close, and look at that, he's only 1.2 seconds behind now, so he'll be in the mix soon enough. And these guys keep battling, and at some point you do have to maybe realize that, oh wait, people behind us are actually catching up, and maybe we should work together here for the start of the race. But they're just gonna keep going side by side as Jordan and Smith tries around the outside. I don't think he'll manage that, but Chmielewski just going on his defensive line as they go into turn one again. Jordan Grant Smith still trying to keep it around the outside there, but he has to slot in, and now Jan Gang actually has a very good run here, and he might put Grant Smith under pressure, but again, around the outside here in turn two rarely works, so Grant Smith again tries to slot in behind the outside. Not gonna work, it's off camber. Jan Gang really, I think he's holding back slightly. Obviously here on Bathurst you don't want to necessarily force any moves, as it can get quite hairy on this track. But yeah, looking to be a good three-way fight here soon for the lead. Oh, Jan Gang! Big oversteer moment there, heading over the crest, and nearly loses his car there, but does well to hold it together. You can see how hard these guys are pushing, all having their moments on top of the hill here. And Grant Smith again, closing up right to the back of Chmielewski there. He has a run here on the straight. Seems like he might be a little bit too far away. Actually close enough to try a move here, but he's gonna think better of it. Chmielewski so far in the lead. Grant Smith showing his nose here, flashing. Don't know why he would be flashing at this point. It's actually, unless you're flashing for overtaking someone of a different class or a back marker, then flashing is not allowed, so hopefully Grant Smith knows about this. Yeah, these guys putting up a good fight for each other, and it's good to see Chmielewski having another adversary next to Jan Gang. Jan Gang up into third position there. I think these two scrapping in front is keeping him in the fight here, and maybe at some point he can capitalize. Also see a little battle here developing between Valkenburg and Arnsman. Valkenburg again putting himself up into a nice fifth position here. Not doing bad at all. As we actually see Arnsman there behind him tap the wall slightly, so that'll put him out of contention with Valkenburg here. Let's see, currently in P3 here in the GT4s is Jordan Wansink here in the KTM, the only KTM on the grid, repping the brand. I think Jordan might be selecting a different car for next season because there's obvious deficiencies about this car, mainly the acceleration and the top speed being the worst out of all the cars. So yeah, even the time that it makes up in the corners is not enough for most tracks. There is some tracks where the KTM really shines, like the short and twisty ones like Sandford, or maybe I could probably see it do well at Hungary or something like that, with the middle and last sector being so tight and twisty. Yeah, obviously on any really fast tracks, it kind of struggles. So far, looking at the front again, Lee Taylor putting in some really good pace here at the front, and has already managed to make about a 3 to 4 second gap here to Marcus Lawrence in second place. So yeah, Lee Taylor really looking at home here on Bathurst. Oh, in the meanwhile, I think Falkenberg must have had a mistake somewhere, because Thomas Arensman has overtaken him again for 5th place. And in front of them we have John Ford there in the blue Mercedes, as they're now coming up to lap traffic. Obviously this is not ideal to meet lap traffic up on top of the hill here, or on top of the mountain, as I think it's Howard getting out of the way there, or maybe it was Harvey, if I'm getting the names wrong. But yeah, this has really compromised the run for John Ford here. We have Arnsman right behind him. Let's see if Arnsman has the top end grunt here in the Aston to do anything. He might be slightly too far away. Not gonna try anything for now. Looking back at the front though, we again have Jordan Smith and Adam Chwalewski here. Coming up to the first round of traffic now, the official first round of traffic for the GT4, so interesting to see how they manage this. And this is where a lot of time can be gained or lost depending on how well you work together with traffic. But Chmielewski really doing a good job there. I think Benny there being quite lenient on the GT3s. We have Hager there as well. Yeah, so far managing traffic quite well. As now Arnsman has actually caught up to John Ford here. So is Falkenberg, he's also catching up, so John here, a bit of a situation to hold on to this position, but these guys, ooh, all very close now. So coming down the hill here again. Arnsman again on the back of John Ford. Let's see if he tries to move here. Gonna pull alongside, but not quite under the braking there. Not quite enough. No position change here so far. Seems like Hill also went into the pit, possibly for damage. Seems to be that way, unfortunately, so hopefully he can get out on track soon again. recovering driver at the moment, as well as Shabo Bensei. So obviously he's gotten his repairs done. This has set him back quite a lot. So obviously coming up to GT3 and GT4 traffic, has the pace to perform really well, but made a mistake there up into turn 1. Slowly trying to make his way back up to the GT3 field. A lot can happen, of course, in the remaining 40 or so minutes. Here, as we have Lucas Rojovic with I believe that is Friedrich behind him. Friedrich in the Borderlands Mercedes. The last lap for Friedrich was a 204.8 and Lucas Rojovic was a 204.4, so seems like Peter Parnell has also managed to make his way back onto the track again. Unfortunately missed this incident there. No, I know Rubix and Cozy have been watching him, and there is a clip there. I assume either it's gonna be frustration where the RIP headphones part comes in, or maybe some other technical issue for Barney there, but yeah. All the way down here in last place, unfortunately, and let's hope he can at least get in front of the GT4 field before the race ends here. We now go back to the front of our race, as our GT3 leaders are now coming up to the leaders of GT4. In the form of Marcus Lawrence and Lee Taylor. Grant Smith, even though he had that little incident on top of the hill, seems to be able to make quite good pace still, so it's not gonna be a lot of damage that he picked up. But likewise, we see Chmielewski behind him also has picked up some damage along the way, so it's only gonna be light. Really see that the difference in braking there between the GT3s and GT4s. Jordan Smith and Chmielewski are trying to make their way through here. They do so cleanly without hindering Marcus Lawrence too much, I think. Now next up will be Lee Taylor, the leader of GT4s that they'll be overtaking. So our pit window has also opened now. Drivers will have 10 minutes to make a pit stop. And obviously they will have to do a tire change, but no mandatory refueling as the drivers get a bit stuck here. Obviously they need to be very careful around the GT4 leader. Not that he's worth more than any other car on track, but you don't want to take out the leader, do you? So you manage to make their way past, as both of them do very carefully. This has caused Chmielewski to lose quite a bit of time there to Grant Smith. But again, the track doesn't lend itself very well to overtaking on top of the hill. So a lot of drivers deciding to hit quite early here. So just trying to get that pit stop out of their way. And we will see if those undercuts work out for some people. You see Nirgish and Rojovic, Friedrich, Mulder in the GT3s. And we have Nels Fonseca and Daniels in the GT4s going in for their pit stops. Also see the leader here, Jordan Smith, as he's coming into the pit. And let's see Chmielewski following suit. So obviously Chmielewski doesn't want to lose Grant Smith out of his vision there, so he elects to come in as well. Now the interesting thing was who will get their best pit stop in. You also see Marcus Lawrence and Wansing coming in there. One person that's electing to stay out so far is Lee Taylor. And well, again, doing a good job so far. Lee has just had a really solid start, looking really comfortable on the on Mount Panorama here, and just doing a really good job. So yeah, props to him, and we'll keep an eye on when he comes into the pit. Another person that elected to stay out was Jan Gang. He was in a net third position, and has elected to stay out for now. You see Jordan Grant Smith coming out there, right behind Marcus Lawrence there. Same with Chmielewski. Oh, as we do see Jordan Wansing getting a drive-through penalty there, so that will be for, I think that will be for a pit stop violation, so entry of the pit or exit of the pit, probably speeding. Would be really unfortunate for Jordan, because he'll lose a lot of time with that. And that'll certainly put him out of contention of being anywhere near, near second place there. Let's hope he can hold on to third. We now see Jan Gang also coming into the pit. Oh, interesting to see where he will come out. And so does John Ford. He also comes in. Falkenberg also comes in. Let's see if Petit also comes in here. I think the GT4s, actually, most of the GT4 field has already elected to pit, and so does Petit. So everyone coming in for quite an early stop here, except for Lee Taylor, Awabinze, and Hill there. So yeah, definitely people seeming to elect an early pit over a late one. Then again, people that are pitting now are just pitting somewhat halfway through the session. Everyone getting on some fresh rubber. Let's see as Chmielewski and Smith get out in front here. See actually where Jan Gang is. Oh, Jan Gang actually with a
at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
Quite a bad pit stop there, I think. Oh, never mind. They're... Oh. Okay, never mind. Jan Gang actually with an insanely good pit stop, jumping in front of our leaders here. Don't know how he managed to gain, because that must have been like 6 or so seconds that he gained at least. But very nice there from Jan Gang, so must have nailed his pit stop completely, putting him in the lead now. But question is, of course, can he hold on to that lead for 30 more minutes? With Jordan Smith and Chmielewski hunting him down. Oh, now I think the Audi struggled a little bit on tires throughout a stint, so maybe on some lower fuel and some fresh rubber here, Jan Gang will actually be able to put in quite nice pace. I do know from Jan that well, we've all seen it so far that he's actually faster usually in his second stint, and quite a bit faster. Usually even getting the fastest laps and really putting some good pace in, so it'll be interesting to see if he can do that here today as well. Yeah, unfortunately, OneSync with his drive-through there, dropping him back all the way from third place, I must say, or from second place, I must say. But yeah, just really unfortunate for him there, losing all that time, but hasn't lost a position, so that's at least a very good thing for him. One thing I do want to mention here is that we have seen a change for position here between Lee Taylor and Marcus Lawrence. Must have again been in the form of the pit stop not quite working out for Lee Taylor, as he is being lapped here by GT3 traffic. But I'm sure with the pace we've seen from Lee, we'll see him slowly make his way up to the back of Marcus Lawrence again. So as we see here with the traffic being lapped, or the GT4 traffic being lapped, there is a bit of give and take everywhere, so everyone's going to lose a little bit of time everywhere in the passes, and pit window is now closed, but I do think everyone got their pit stop in, so there shouldn't be any issues there. Yeah, Lee Taylor doing his utmost best to catch up to Marcus Lawrence, and I think he is actually catching up quite a bit. And Balin Nergesh really under attack now from Falkenberg, but they have dropped back massively from John Ford there. Yeah, Balin really under pressure here by Falkenberg. We do know the Lexus has the legs on the straightaway. I think has some of the highest top speeds in the GT3 field. He gets a good run here. Most importantly, let's see how Falkenberg is doing here. Actually getting a good bit of slipstream here, I think, Falkenberg. I think might be slightly too far to try anything under braking. Oh, he's gonna try it around the outside. Very confident here by Falkenberg. Seen him do it before. And he's actually gonna pull off the move there. On the outside there. Very nice from Falkenberg going into the last corner here. Puts him up into 5th position. Let's see if Nergesh is now able to put something on him there. Seems once Falkenberg got past that, Nergash instantly dropped away from him, so yeah, Falkenberg putting some very decent pace in here. Now I have Nergash find someone here. I think that might be Andrew Harvey in front of Nergash. Seems to have the pace over Nergash so far. So that's why I think he didn't let him through. But Nergash instantly just dropping back completely, so I wonder what was causing that for him. What is causing that problem for him, because dropped back about 4 or so seconds to Falkenberg in front. Let's take another look at the front here, as actually seems like, if I'm not mistaken, Chmielewski has dropped out of contention here. Yes, it does seem so. So Chmielewski dropped out of the session, must have made a mistake somewhere, and has disconnected. So Bathurst taking a lot of lives today. Now we're seeing it again, but again, Yang Gang proving my point here. The second stint, he's really always quite fast, and proving it again here. Last lap was a 2:02 dead, and Jordan Grant Smith behind him doing a 2:01.7, but obviously traffic comes into play for these kind of lap times. Still about 2 seconds ahead of Grant Smith here. Actually, as we have Lee Taylor in the picture here, he's slowly trying to make his way up to Marcus Lawrence. And doing quite a good job here, Lee Taylor. He'll, if he doesn't get hindered by the GT3 traffic too much, he'll probably be on the back of Lawrence here in the next lap or so. See Benche keeping his car behind Lee Taylor here. Obviously wouldn't want to impede on him too much, and he maneuvers around the traffic very well there. I don't think Taylor got held up there. Now we'll have to get past Marcus Lawrence, which also shouldn't be an issue. They go into forced elbow. We do see Lee Taylor only about 1.2 seconds behind Marcus Lawrence there, so interesting to see how that battle develops. We now have Ryan Daniels here, being lapped by some traffic. See Daryl Hill also went into the pit, so surely must have retired with damage. Let's take another look here at the back at Peter Parnell, as he's his pace was looking really good for this race, and I mean, Parnell always looks very comfortable on this track and has a lot of experience on it, so it's a shame that he had a mistake somewhere, which caused him to drop back. He's doing his utmost best to come back, but not easy, obviously. Might be able to make his way through a couple of GT4 cars, but yeah, not having the best run here today. Same here with Andrew Harvey. Seems to have caught the the worst here of the race. Also in the middle of the GT4 pack. Yeah, not having that great of a time as he makes a massive mistake there. Oh, that's surely damage for Andrew Harvey there as he gets a lot of damage there. The dipper onto Forrest elbow. Yeah, that bonnet is loose on Harvey's car. Now, Colin Nergish if he's catching up here. But I imagine Howard actually, yeah, look at the top speed there. He's down a lot. And surely he's gonna have to give way here. As he goes into the pit. Yeah, so not the best day for Howard there. Shame. But Ryan Pate here looking very racy behind Nergish. Managed to make his way up into 7th there. So this has really been a race of attrition. Like I said, I think we started with 16 GT3s. If I'm not mistaken. We've ended up with, have a head count here, 4, 8, 11, 12, 13, so 13 GT3s left, so 3 GT3s already retired, and I think we've actually had 0 retirements in the GT4 field, so obviously they're faring a bit better here at Bathurst. Still in a demanding lead here. Jan Gang doing a really good job of work this pit stop magic. And actually take a lap on board with our leader here. And enjoy the lap and the engine sound of the Audi here. So that was a lap with our leader Jan Gang there, and yeah, just looking very smooth overall there. And his last lap a 2:02.5. Jordan Grant Smith behind him a 2:02.2. So Jordan maybe putting in a bit of a better time, but again, very prone to traffic in this race. But yeah. Jan Gang can keep it together. Might just be able to snag another win. And have a back-to-back victory here in the PCDC ACC multi-class league. Let's see here as Lukas Rojovic is he's being caught here by Chabo Bense, who's trying to unlap himself. Gonna do so. It's quite smoothly. But Rojovic running in a nice 8th place here. A very good effort from him. Like most of the close battles on track have kind of petered out, but I do want to still keep an eye here on the battle between Marcus Lawrence and Lee Taylor, because Lee Taylor does seem to be just a smidge faster than Marcus Lawrence here at this track, and seems to have lost out a lot on his pit stop, but you can see here the distance between these two guys. Taylor now within a second. Surely looking to pounce here within a lap or two. But yeah, I do certainly want to get Taylor in here after the race to see what went wrong on his pit stop there. Because seems like he did lose quite a significant amount of time there, because I think he came out about 3 seconds behind Marcus Lawrence, if I'm not mistaken, and he was 3 seconds ahead before the pit stop, so he totally lost about 6 seconds just with the pit stop alone. Could have also just been his entry or his exit, could have been his position in the pit stall, so we'll see how he deals with this, but man, is he closing up fast to the back of Marcus Lawrence here. And Lawrence will definitely be in a lot of pressure. We've already seen that the AMG GT4 has the legs here on the straightaway compared to the Camaro. And I'll actually see here in a forced elbow if Taylor manages to put this corner together. Won't be right up to the back of Lawrence, but I'm only gonna take a lap or two for him to get right up to the back of him. See here, look at that top speed difference. As Taylor just closes up on that straight. Definitely seems to be in the top end of the car performance there that he's gaining a lot of time. The initial acceleration and such seems the same, but just that top end is really really a big difference here between the two cars. Now within half a second, Lee Taylor. Oh, Lawrence with a mistake there. This will allow Lee Taylor to go past again. Very unfortunate for Lawrence there, but I mean, it was to be expected. Lee Taylor showing straight out pace throughout this whole race here, and looking really comfortable with his AMG, so well-deserved overtake there, and Lawrence definitely feeling the pressure there, it seems, as he's pushing that Camaro to its limits, I think, on this track. Of traffic there that the guys have to deal with, as the leader now in form of Yan Gang is coming up to them, and he will have to lap them. Obviously he won't want to impede too much on these guys, but also he doesn't want to lose that lead to Grant Smith behind him. Oh yes, lost a lot of time here. Now is Grant Smith right behind him. So both of the top twos here right behind each other. So we have Jan Gang here in a battle now with Grant Smith, losing all his time over the hill there. And hopefully he can actually hold on to this. But Jan Gang doing a good job so far as Grant Smith actually runs a bit wide there onto the grass even, which allows Jan Gang to extend his gap again. Wally will be very glad with. Oh, both of them running wide there. Yeah, it seems like the Mount Panorama track is really taking the toll on some of these guys towards the end here. Yeah, Jan Gang doing a very good job holding on there. Very good defense put up. And let's hope for him he can hold on till the end here. Yeah, so now we do see Lee Taylor here getting very comfortable. Slowly building out that lead for Marcus Lawrence, and if nothing goes wrong, he should be able to take the victory here as he looked strong all the way through. I do wonder, the track is looking quite gloomy right now, if we'll see a bit of rain here at the death. That would be quite a toss-up. Let's say the last 5 minutes or so. It won't get nearly as wet enough as it needs to be for wet tires anyway, but a nice would be a nice shake-up of the pace here. Yeah, Lee Taylor looking very comfortable here. And Jan Gang here at the death of it, looking very comfortable as he'll earn 3 or so more laps until the end here. So in those 3 laps, he just has to make sure that Grant Smith doesn't get in front of him here. The battles on track have kind of fizzled out, I think. And the watch here is really between, or the height of the action is really here between Gang and Grant Smith. But Grant Smith seems to be struggling a little bit more here towards the end of his stint. Again, Gang always very comfortable towards the end of the race. Always puts in a very solid second stint, and might see him get a back-to-back victory here. At Bathurst, of all places. Now see Olaf Mulder here. The Aston Martin GT3 actually getting a stop and go for 30 seconds. I believe a stop and go is for track limits. I don't know where you would pick those up on this track, but Olaf Mulder unfortunately has managed to do so. Also see someone else coming into the pit here. Nergish maybe under-fueled himself a little bit here. Is going to lose out a lot of positions here. Let's see if he actually comes out of the pit. Don't quite know. It's taking quite a lot of time here for him to refuel. Maybe he actually, because there is no refueling allowed, he might not actually get out of the pit anymore. That is really unfortunate for Nergish here. Lee Taylor, Marcus Lawrence getting lapped by some GT3s now. just seems like Lee Taylor has had the pace here all the way through, and very, very solid performance from him. And I think if I asked him this before the race, he wouldn't have thought that he would be leading this race. So I think he'll be very happy if he holds on until the end here. So Jordan Wansink here, still holding on very well here in his KTM. And overall in the race pace, the KTM not the greatest, but Wansink making it work for himself, and he is, unless something serious goes on, he's gonna solidify that third position here. Very good effort from him. And again, I think most of the battles here have been fought out on the track. Oh, it's Max Nels here having a quite a bad time here at the track. Is McLaren not looking in the best of shapes right now? Not the best day for Max, but good to at least see him try and continue. A lot of spirit in the guy, so that's good to see at least.
Leaders on final lap now.
And as we go here, wow, a massive turn into events. I think Jan Gang made a big mistake here somewhere and allowed Jordan Grant Smith to come through here. So that is really unfortunate for Gang there. Let's see after the race if we can catch up with him, but wow, that is a turn of events here, and Grant Smith is gonna pick up the win for today if nothing else changes here. Yeah, Jordan Grant Smith, I should say, looked very solid as well today. Didn't quite manage to catch up to Jan Gang until the death here, but I'll be sure to ask Jan Gang here what happened to him. So yeah, as we're going downhill with Grant Smith, we're gonna see him pick up his first win. I think his first race as well. So how that goes here. And we'll be sure to get him into the booth for a second here as well. But yeah, Jordan Grant Smith here is gonna be our race winner for the GT3s here at the PCDC ACC multiclass league round 4 at Bathurst, and great performance from Grant Smith all along. And we'll have Jan Gang coming over the line here in seconds. Still seems to be quite pleased with that, but obviously it could have been different. We do have another podium runner here, Thomas Arensman, coming across the line. Very well done from him as well. Now we look towards our GT4 here. GT4 leader Lee Taylor. Solid pace for the entirety of the race, and really proved himself here on this track. But in solid laps, just solid pace overall, and really deserves this win. Oh no, disaster. Disaster for Marcus Lawrence as he is out of fuel. Must have miscalculated his fuel, and yeah, this is gonna see him drop back all the way, as he does get a bit of a run there down the hill, but man, oh man, is that a sign of defeat there. even put his blinkers on there. We do see Ford there in 4th place for the GT3s. In 6th, Falkenberg in 5th, sorry. In 6th, Rogerwich in 7th, and Shea in 8th. Taylor in 1st then for the GT4s, and One Sync will actually take a surprising P2 as we continue to watch the demise of Marcus Lawrence here. The engine is still on, it seems, as he's coasting to the line. But yeah. See here, I think he is the only one that still has to hit, and he is gonna pull off the track as the fuel runs out on his Camaro there. Very unfortunate for Marcus Lawrence to not make it to the end, because that would have been a solid P2 for him. And has just cut it slightly too fine with the fuel. So we'll see now if we can get someone in the booth here. Let's see who would be available. Don't see Grant Smith, the winner of today, so I'm gonna see if I can get Jan Gang in here. Maybe he'll be available for a comment or two. Hey Jan.
Hello.
So well, it was a very good second stint for you, a good overall race, but then I didn't manage to catch it on the stream here. But what happened to you in the last lap?
After the long second straight, I just wasn't there with my head, so I missed my braking and went just straight. And Grant Smith just went past, so I lost like 9 to 10 seconds in that one.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate because I mean, very solid performance today all around. And I was saying
Thank
it
you.
on stream as well. It has kind of come to my attention that you're usually very strong in your second stint. It seems like you really pick up the pace in your second stint. Is that a car specific thing? Is the Audi very fast on its second stint, or is that just how you are as a driver?
I don't really know if it's Audi specific. That's my, I think, 5th or 6th race in the Audi just. So I don't really know. But I think I just get lucky with pit stops. So this time I jumped both Porsches just by staying out one lap longer because they were getting in traffic with the GT4s. And I just got like 5 seconds on those two guys. I don't think that my second stint in particular is very strong. Just the less fuel on the tank is just something that the Audi really likes, I guess.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way. Well, at least I can usually see it in the times that you're quite a bit faster. But again, yeah, fresh rubber and a lower fuel load can do a lot. But yeah, very solid performance today. Congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Have a nice one.
Yeah, you too. Let's see if we can get our winner of the GT4s in here. Hey, Whip.
Hello?
So, very solid race from you today.
Yeah, it was quite surprising, to be honest. I didn't think I wasn't that confident going into it, but obviously my pace was better than I thought it was.
Yeah, I mentioned it in the stream as well. I said if I would have asked you before the race if you think you'd end up the winner today, I don't think you would have probably said yes. But I mean, you've proved your pace here. Seemed like you were very comfortable on the track.
That's the surprising thing. It wasn't hard at all. It was quite comfortable the whole race. It was just nice, consistent, and comfortable. I didn't feel like I had to really push, if you know what I mean. So the Merc must be just awesome around here.
Yeah, and one thing I did want to ask is with the pit stops there, it seems like you lost quite a bit of time with Marcus getting in front of you after the pit stop. Was this because of traffic, or did the pit stop not go your way in some kind of form?
Pit stop went fine. It was just the undercut. I underestimated the undercut. I was going to cover him when he went in. I was going to go in as well the next lap, but I had a clear track, so I thought I'll just do another lap or two while I've got a clear track, and the new tyres were obviously that much better. But no, nothing went wrong with my pit stop. It was just he undercut me. That's all.
All right. Well, anyway, really solid performance out there today, and congratulations.
Thank you. Really sucks for Echo running out of fuel. That's,
yeah, I'm gonna
harsh.
drag him in here, unfortunately, to see what he has to say. But yeah, we'll see you next week, I guess.
And cheers. See ya.
Yep. Well. Mr. Lawrence, what happened there?
Hello, I was 0.2 fuel too short. Get down like the back straight, and yeah, I tried to coast down the hill, and then as I went up, that was it.
Yeah, seemed it seemed to me that Whip definitely had the pace over you today.
Yeah, he did. The mark is quite strong here as well.
Yeah, it does seem. I mean, I could be wrong, but it does seem that the Merc has the legs on the straight here compared to the Camaro.
Yeah, which surprised me because I would have thought the Camaro was a beast down the straights and struggled more in the corners, but it seemed like it was the other way around with the Merc.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think I got an onboard of Whip there at some point, and I think when he was behind you, he caught up like 2 or 3 tenths.
Yeah, I could see that as well.
But yeah, very unfortunate of you running out of fuel there. But I mean, still a solid performance. I think. Did you get P3 in the end, or?
I'm not really sure, to be honest, because I didn't even cross the line, but it was still showing me as P3. So I don't know what how many laps the other guys did. So if I was still a lap ahead, then I guess I'm still P3. But I don't know yet. I'll have to have a look.
Yeah,
I don't think I was, because I don't think I'd lapped. Maybe lapped 1 GT4, but not any more than that. So I probably was like second from last of the GT4s or something.
Yeah, regardless of the where you end up, that was again a solid performance. Didn't seem like the Camaro was quite the car for this track. I mean,
no, but I pushed like crazy and it was a lot of fun. So go on to the next one, see if that's a better track for Camaro. It's older, so I doubt it, but we'll still give it our all as usual.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week then.
Yo, thank you very much.
So I see our winner there, Jordan Grant Smith, has come into Discord, so we'll have the last talk here with him. Hello, Jordan.
Hello.
Hey. How did that race took an interesting turn at the end there for you?
Yeah, insane race. At the start, I got into P1 after lap 2, and then I binned it into the wall, and I had about 8 seconds of damage. And then P2 also had an incident and had damage, so we both came out behind the Audi, and I was just pushing as much as I could on the last stint to catch up with the Audi. Yeah, and then he made a mistake, and I managed to get past.
Yeah, I mean, you had early on you had a big battle there with Chmielewski, who unfortunately I think retired because of the damage he took on the hill. But I think everyone was suffering a little bit today. But I think this is your first race, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, already a very solid performance from you. I think. Did everything kind of go your way this race? You feel like, or are there improvements to be had?
I think I'm overall happy. I wish I hadn't got damage in the first stint, but otherwise I think it kind of fell into my hands with the Audi because he was very strong in his second stint.
Yeah, it definitely seemed that way, but I mean, good job holding it together and pulling out the victory in the end there, and we'll hope to see you next week.
Yeah, until next week. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, congratulations. So with that being said, our stream is gonna come to the end here, and I've had a great time watching this race at Bathurst. Usually Bathurst creates a very very nice racing, so it was a joy to watch again. I've been sent a stuff mail. And be sure to check out our socials on youtube.com/PCDC Motorsports. Our website, most importantly, if you want to sign up for the league, is pcdc.simstrata.com, which you can see at the bottom. And then we also have our twitter.com/PCDC Motorsports. So make sure to get in contact with us if you want to join the league. Sign up via the website. And we'll see you for next week. Goodbye.